What's up everyone, and thanks for tuning into Electric Bike Journal, and today we have the Econic One Bandit. The Econic One Bandit is a Class 1 electric bike with pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour, and it is made to handle the concrete or the gravel. It has a 460 watt-hour battery that is integrated into the frame that is removable to charge off the bike. This powers the 250 watt Bafang mid-drive motor. This motor has a peak power of 500 watts and has 80 Newton meters of torque. This motor uses a torque sensor to sense how much power that the rider is giving and gives the electric assist according to that power. This is controlled by a thumb controller on the bars, and there is a display to show your speed, level of assist, battery percentage, and more. You can connect to the Bandit with the Econic One app, and that way you can see other options through the app. The Bandit has a 10-speed drivetrain with hydraulic disc brakes with a 180mm rotor up front and a 160mm rotor in the rear. The wheels are 29-inch wheels with 29 by 1.9-inch tires on them, and they are built in the Econic One factory to ensure quality of the build. There are mounting points for a front and a rear rack as well, and it also has an integrated headlight. The Bandit has a range of up to 60 miles depending on your pedal assist level and the terrain, and it comes in weighing at 51 pounds with a price tag of $3,199. Here's what we enjoyed about the Econic One Bandit. We like the tune that they gave to this Bafang motor. Econic One worked directly with Bafang to do a custom tune for this bike. It really does give a nice and smooth assist in all the levels, and you can really tell that it is tuned to be very good for riding in multiple different terrains. Pedaling in all the different assist levels and in various gears really was smooth and natural feeling. In pedal assist 1, you really didn't feel it too much, but you could tell that you were getting some pedal assist. When you went up to 5, you could tell that it was working hard and it would give you some nice power to get up those hills or get up to speed fast. This mid-drive motor is also fairly quiet, even in pedal assist 5. You do hear it when you are riding. There's definitely some motor noise. It's definitely not silent, but it is much quieter, especially quieter than some of the bikes with those bigger rear hub motors. Those things are loud, and this feels silent compared to that. The geometry of the bike is comfortable and has good handling characteristics. It is stable at speed and can handle turns with ease. This bike also has some nice looking lines to it. It is a nice looking bike. It's got a nice cool paint finish to it. And it is also a good looking bike, somewhere in between a hardtail mountain bike and a commuter bike. It does take a little bit of work to get these big wheels going, but once you are going, they feel good and they absorb some of the bumps in the road. The 1.9-inch tires roll nice on the concrete and they roll smooth on there. And once you get into a little bit of dirt, they feel nice and had some good grip as well. There are just a few things on the Bandit that we would like to see a little bit differently. One thing is that the water bottle cage is in a little bit of a different spot than we have seen on other bikes. It is underneath the top tube right there. It does seem like there is room to put it traditionally where it would go right there on the seat tube, but maybe there was an issue with taking the battery out, it would hit the bottle cage. Just seems a little odd to have that underneath the seat tube. Just something, more of a preference. It still does hold a water bottle, so that works out. The Bandit also does not come with a kickstand standard. That won't be an issue if you are planning to ride it more off-road on the gravel, because you don't want that kickstand to be bouncing around. But if you are going to be using this more in a hybrid way, sometimes on the off-road, sometimes commuting to work or around the town, you may want that kickstand. It does just help you when you are loading it with stuff or just parking it outside somewhere to lock it up. This bike is also a little bit on the heavier side, coming in at 51 pounds. You don't feel that weight when you are riding it. It still does feel nimble. Maybe when you're trying to lift that front wheel up, it does feel a little heavier. You do feel the weight when you are picking this bike up and moving it around. But like I said, riding around, it feels well and you don't feel that weight. It is very well balanced. The Bandit would be a great bike for someone who is looking to take their e-bike riding a little bit more onto the gravel side of things. It does have that nice geometry that is comfortable, and that upright position helps you handle the bike well when you are riding on looser terrain. If you wanted to turn this into more of an urban style bike, you could definitely add the rear rack and a front rack on here to carry some loads and ride it around town. Then on the weekends, you could take that stuff off and go hit some dirt roads and ride around and enjoy some nature. For the price, you are getting a nice mid-drive bike with good specs that is versatile enough to go handle those gravel roads and even those little local rides to the coffee shop. Let's take you on a ride to give you a little bit of on-bike riding experience. Going for a ride on the Econic One Bandit. So this is the Class 1 pedal assist bike. It's got a mid-drive motor, 29-inch wheels, and just starting on the flats like we like to do. Right now, no pedal assist, just pedaling around with the motor off. And since it's got such big tires and a big wheel, once you get it going, it keeps its speed pretty well. It actually feels like you could pedal this thing pretty good in the flats. So I still have the motor off, just cruising, and we're going 10 and a half. Which is nice to have a bike that feels efficient when you don't have the motor on, because that means you're going to get better range since you're not going to solely be relying on just using the motor. And this has that mid-drive Bafang motor that is 250 watt on average and then peaks at 500 watts. Let's get that thing on. So put it into pedal assist 1. It's got 5 pedal assist modes. And in 1, we feel a slight little help. It's nothing too crazy, but you can feel that you are pedaling a little easier than without having it on. All right, so we got to a stop and we're still in pedal assist 1 here. And you don't feel a crazy push, but you definitely feel like you get a little bit of boost to get you going up to speed a bit. So it just helps you get rolling a little quicker to get you up to a nice cadence so you can continue on your ride. And we're just in the flats here, and this is just pedal assist 1 and going a little over 13 right now. So it's a bit better than before without having it off. And this motor's pretty quiet. You just hear a little bit of that motor noise in 1, nothing too crazy. But it definitely helps relieve that pedaling of this bike. We'll hit it up to 2. And that gets us just about a mile per hour faster to 14.5. And from when you start pedaling, then you feel the motor kick in a little more. And once you put some more pressure down, since this has that torque sensor, you feel the motor kick in. Just from a stop right there, quickly gets you up to 15 miles an hour in pedal assist 2, very easily. Now this is just a little bit more of uphill than downhill on this road. So we'll click it to 3. And in 3, once you put some power down, you feel that motor puts you up to 16 miles an hour if you keep on pedaling. Since this does have the torque sensor, if you soft pedal, it's not going to give as much pedal assist. But when you start pushing down on those pedals, giving some power, you feel that motor kick in and give you the assist that you want. So still in 3, just pedaling a little harder now, gets you up to 18 miles an hour and, you know, working a little bit, but it really is not that difficult to be cruising at 18 miles an hour, which is pretty good for this slight little uphill of a road. From the stoplight in pedal assist 3, that gives you a nice boost right off the bat. and you gotta kind of shift up a little bit, keep your pedaling up to speed. So we'll kick it into 4 really quick, and you can feel that get you up to speed even quicker. And at 4, you can cruise with not pushing as hard, you know, as much of your input. It gives a little more boost. So we'll get up to the top of this hill in 4. Got to shift down a little bit. But not too bad. Pretty easily get up to that little incline. And still in 4 here, you're not having to put as much torque down to get to a good cruising speed of 16.5 miles an hour. So we'll get into 5, and that gets you to the top speed that this bike will assist you up to, which is 20 miles an hour. And that's pretty quick, and definitely feels like you're moving pretty quick when you're going 20 on this bike. From a stop in 5, gets you going good. So on the flats, if you want to stay around 14, 15 miles an hour, which is good pace if you're just cruising around town, just in pedal assist 2, you still feel like you're getting a good workout, but you're also getting a nice little assist to keep you at that speed. We made it to the hill that I like to test this bike up, or all the bikes that we ride up. Right now I'm in pedal assist 0, so no assist in the lowest gear. And this works. It's, you know, if you ran out of battery, you're gonna be going slow, going 5 miles an hour right now. So it is a little heavier. This bike's 51 pounds, so if you had to pedal this whole thing up, that'd be pretty tough. So let's get that into 1. 1, picked up pretty good. Already got to 7.5 miles an hour, and you can feel some relief from that motor, which is great. So 1 will get you up this hill. Still gonna be doing some work, but it is easier than not having any assist, that's for sure. So we'll go to 2. 2, you feel the motor kick in and hear it wind up a little more. Going 10. Got to shift to get our cadence a little more organized, but you feel a nice assist going uphill at that. And the power output's smooth. It doesn't just jump right on, which is nice. So we'll go up to 3. And the same power, that got me going 13 miles an hour. If I shift down a little bit so I can push a little harder, going over 13. Then here's 4. 4 feels a nice boost going over 14 miles an hour. Then 5, gotta shift down a little bit so we don't outspin this. Getting up to over 15 on that hill. So it feels good going uphill, and it's nice having the input from that mid-drive motor. It feels more natural. You're still having to put in that work to pedal up, but that motor assist feels good, and you can get going at good speed. Very windy today, so even on this downhill, it's nice to have the pedal assist on just to get us over to 20 miles an hour. Then we can cruise down a little bit. And we'll do a little brake test. It's got hydraulic disc brakes on here, which is nice. They've been smooth. Some good stopping power with 180 millimeter rotors up front and 160 in the back. Made it to the hill
that I like to go down to see how this thing handles at pretty much top speed without motor on, just coasting downhill with gravity. It's nice to see how it handles when you're going super fast, then how it stops at the bottom. So I'll just have the motor off, was pedaling just to get down here a little bit. Just gonna let go and let this bike go and see how we go. And it rolls really nice right away when it gets steeper. Already hitting 25 miles an hour. It's a little bumpy here, so I'm out of the saddle a little bit just to prevent the bumps. But quick, we're already going 34 miles an hour. Now I'm gonna have to start slowing down already because some debris from some recent storms coming through and I don't want to slip in any of that. But when I peaked down, that was fast, over 33 miles an hour. I think I saw it hit 34, so that's pretty quick, and it handles well, doesn't feel unstable at all, which is great. And right at the bottom of this hill, we get to see how it does on a little bit of gravel. So I put this into pedal assist 3 to get up this steep little pitch, and it feels good. Don't slip much. They really made this bike to handle where the road gets unpaved. And it does have these 1.9-inch tires on here, which is good for this kind of stuff. So I haven't done a full gravel ride on it yet, but just taking it on some paths, and it feels nice and it handles well. The position and geometry of the bike make it stable in the dirt. And these bigger wheels help you roll over some of those bumps a bit. Would be nice when it's wet like this to have some sort of fender. You do get mud on yourself, but it's all part of being in the dirt. And wintertime when it's raining a lot. But just, you know, this is a short little gravel path, but it handles well. And these wheels do roll nicely once they get up to speed. So if you get any little bumps or anything, you can kind of pop right over it. It is a little bit stiff because it is a full aluminum frame with no suspension, but if you float your hands and stand up a little bit, use your knees as some suspension, it's not too bad. And it would be fun to take this on a more kind of backcountry route to see how it does on a big long gravel day. I think it would be pretty fun.
Thank you for watching this review on the Econic One Bandit. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that so you don't miss any of our future videos. We do like to do bike giveaways. We have a few going on almost all the time. So make sure you subscribe so you have a chance of winning an electric bike of your own.